She wasn't on a ladder, wasn't carrying anything heavy, wasn't in a rush. She was just walking to the kitchen, and that's the part that gets me. Falls don't announce themselves. Most of the time, the real cause isn't the wet floor or the loose rug that everyone blames afterward. It's been building for months, in the way the person walks, in 6 specific habits that quietly erode the stability that keeps you upright. That's what this video is about. 6 walking habits, the ones that actually matter. And I'll tell you right now, some of these are going to push back against things you've been told, because the conventional wisdom on safe walking for older adults gets at least 2 of these exactly backwards. Habit number 1, walk with your eyes up, not at the floor. This is one of the 2 I mentioned, because almost everyone who gets nervous about falling does the same thing. They start watching the ground in front of them. Every step gets checked before it's taken, and it feels safer. It genuinely does. But here's what's actually happening when you do that. Your balance system has 3 inputs: your inner ear, your feet on the ground, and your vision. When all 3 are working together, your body makes tiny, constant adjustments to keep you stable. But when you lock your gaze at the floor 2 feet in front of you, you're cutting off the visual input that tells your brain where you are in space. You're navigating a room the way you drive a car by staring at the hood. And there's something else. Looking down drops your chin to your chest, which shifts your center of gravity forward. Your body compensates by shortening your stride and widening your step, which sounds like it should help. But research tracking over 600 community-dwelling older adults found that exactly this pattern, shorter strides and inconsistent step width, was among the strongest predictors of fall risk. Not a cause of safety, a warning sign. The habit that feels protective is quietly making things worse. So what should you be doing instead? Eyes forward, on the horizon, or at least at the far wall of the room you're walking into. Let your peripheral vision handle the floor. That's what it's there for. When you need to step over something specific, glance at it, place your foot, and bring your eyes back up. Brief looks, not sustained stares. It takes a few days to break the habit of looking down, but it's worth doing. Because every other walking habit on this list works better when your eyes are where they're supposed to be. Habit number 2, take longer strides, not shorter ones. This is the second one that goes against what most people assume. The instinct when you feel unsteady is to slow down and take smaller, more careful steps. And slowing down isn't the problem. There's nothing wrong with walking at a comfortable pace. The problem is the shuffle. The short, flat-footed, barely lifting the feet gait that a lot of people gradually drift into because it feels more controlled. Researchers studying 619 community-dwelling older adults found that those in the lowest gait speed and shortest stride length group had a 149% higher chance of falling compared to those who walked with a fuller, more confident stride. Not 49%, 149%. That's not a small difference. That's a completely different risk category. So what does that actually mean? A shorter stride means you spend more time with both feet on the ground. And while that sounds stable, it actually means you're constantly in a recovery position, like a car that keeps tapping the brakes instead of driving smoothly. Your muscles fatigue faster, your coordination degrades faster, and when something unexpected happens, a slight incline, a change in surface, a moment of distraction, you have no margin left to catch yourself. A longer stride, by contrast, means the muscles at the front of your hips are working through a full range. Your glutes are firing, your arms swing naturally to counterbalance. Your whole body is engaged in the way it was designed to walk. Now, this isn't about walking fast. A slow stride can still be a full stride. What you're going for is a deliberate heel-to-toe step where the foot actually lifts off the ground and lands with some reach forward. Not a shuffle, not a slide, a proper step. If it feels unfamiliar, start on a flat surface indoors. Focus on clearing the floor completely with each foot and letting the heel land first. 20 steps of that, consciously, once a day. The muscle memory comes back faster than most people expect. Habit number 3, swing your arms. Sounds almost too simple to mention, but watch people who've developed a fear of falling and you'll notice it immediately. The arms go still, hands clasped in front, or tucked close to the sides. Sometimes gripping a jacket, sometimes just frozen there. Again, it feels like control, it looks like caution. What it actually is a system running on fewer cylinders than it should be. Your arm swing is not decorative. It's a direct counterbalance to the rotation your hips and legs generate with every step. When your right leg swings forward, your left arm swings forward with it. And that opposition is what keeps your torso from twisting out of alignment. Suppress the arms, and your body has to find that stability somewhere else. usually by widening the step, slowing down, and tensing the upper body, all three of which, as we've just covered, increase fall risk rather than reduce it. Now pay attention to this part. A natural arm swing keeps the shoulders loose and the chest open, which means your breathing stays relaxed and your reaction time stays sharper. Tense arms mean a tense torso, which means a delayed response when you need to catch yourself quickly. The arm swing is part of the reflex chain, so check in on your arms next time you walk, especially when you're walking somewhere that makes you nervous. A parking lot, a grocery store, an unfamiliar floor. Those are exactly the moments when arms tend to go rigid. That's when you need them moving most. Let them swing naturally, not an exaggerated pumping motion, just the easy, relaxed pendulum they're supposed to be. Your whole gait will feel more fluid within about 30 seconds. Habit number 4, don't stop talking or thinking while you walk. This one surprises people most. There's a clinical test called the dual task walk. The idea is simple. You walk while doing something else, counting backward from 100 by sevens, having a conversation, carrying something in one hand. And the test measures what happens to your gait when your brain is partially occupied. In healthy younger adults, the answer is not much. In older adults at elevated fall risk, the answer is everything gets worse. Stride length drops, step width becomes erratic, walking speed falls off, and critically, the degree to which gait degrades under dual task conditions is one of the most reliable predictors of whether someone will fall in the next 6 months. Walking safely isn't just a physical skill, it's a cognitive one. Your brain is doing an enormous amount of automatic coordination work every time you take a step, monitoring ground clearance, adjusting for subtle changes in surface, anticipating your next footfall. When you haven't been challenging that system, it starts to slip. The fix is not to stop multitasking while you walk. That's actually the wrong direction. The fix is to train the system that handles it. The same way a musician practices difficult passages slowly so they can play them fast under pressure, you practice walking while thinking so that your brain builds the capacity to handle both. What does that look like practically? Walk while talking to someone beside you. Walk while doing simple mental arithmetic out loud. Walk while carrying a cup of water. None of it needs to be hard. It just needs to be practiced consistently, a little at a time, so that when your attention is pulled somewhere else on an ordinary Tuesday morning, your legs keep doing their job without being asked. Habit number 5, turn your whole body, not just your head. Turning is when most falls happen, not mid-stride, not on a straight path, in the moment of rotation, when the body pivots and the feet haven't quite caught up yet. Here's what goes wrong. When people turn, the instinct is to lead with the head and shoulders. Swivel the upper body first and let the feet follow. In your 20s and 30s, the lag between the upper body and lower body is tiny. By your 60s and 70s, that lag has grown, the head turns, the torso follows, and the feet are still pointing the other direction for a half second longer than the brain expects. That's the window where the fall happens. The fix sounds almost too simple. Turn your whole body as a unit. Lead with the feet, not the shoulders. Take an extra step to complete the turn rather than pivoting on a planted foot. Your body moves as a coordinated system, and turns work best when everything rotates together rather than in sequence. Pay attention to this next time you're in your kitchen moving from the counter to the fridge or turning at the end of a hallway. Those short, casual turns, done dozens of times a day, are exactly where this habit gets built or broken. Practice the full body turn there in the low stakes moments and it becomes automatic everywhere else. Habit number 6, walk on uneven ground, on purpose. Most people do the opposite of this. As balance gets less reliable, they stick to smooth, flat, predictable surfaces. Paved paths, even floors, the same familiar routes. And it makes complete sense. It feels responsible, but check this out. Your balance system, the whole network of muscles, joints, inner ear, and brain that keeps you upright, only stays sharp if it gets challenged regularly. It works exactly like any other system in the body. Use it or lose it. And the specific challenge it needs isn't flat ground. Flat ground is too easy. It stops being training and becomes maintenance at best. A network meta-analysis that pooled 66 randomized controlled trials over 47,000 older adults found that balance-focused exercise ranked above everything else for fall prevention, above resistance training, above aerobic exercise, above walking programs as a standalone. And what makes exercise balance-focused is exactly this: surfaces and situations that require your body to constantly adapt and recalibrate. You don't need a gym for this. A patch of grass, a gravel path, a road that slopes slightly to one side, any terrain that makes your ankles and feet work to find stability. 10 minutes of that, 3 times a week is actively training the system that saves you when something unexpected happens. And if outdoor terrain isn't accessible, the indoor version is standing on one foot while you brush your teeth, or walking heel to toe along a line on the floor. The principle is the same. Give the system something to solve, and it gets better at solving things. Because we've been talking about habits and mechanics. And it's easy to hear a list like this and process it as useful information without really sitting with what's at stake. A fall, for someone over 65, is not a minor event. Not statistically. A hip fracture, the most common serious consequence of a fall, carries a 1-year mortality rate consistently above 20% across dozens of countries and millions of patients. More than 1 in 5 people who fracture a hip are not alive 12 months later. Let that land for a second. 1 in 5. Not because the fracture itself is necessarily fatal, but because of what follows. Surgery on an older body that may already have other vulnerabilities. Weeks of immobility that decondition muscle and bone at a rate that's hard to recover from. The loss of independence that changes every other calculation. Where you live, who takes care of you, what your days look like. I've seen it take someone from driving their own car to a care facility in under a year. Someone who had been active and self-sufficient and hadn't been sick a day in the last decade. One fall, one Tuesday morning, and everything that had been stable wasn't anymore. It doesn't have to go that way. That's exactly why these habits matter. Not as a fitness project, not as technique for its own sake, but as a direct line of defense you can actually build. Starting today with the way you walk to the kitchen. The research says balance and functional training can reduce fall rates by over 1/3. That's 1 in 3 falls that don't happen. 1 in 3 Tuesday mornings that stay ordinary. 6 habits. Let's be direct about what to do with them. Don't try to change all 6 at once. That's how nothing changes. Pick the one that felt most familiar when you heard it. The one where you thought, yes, that's me, I do that. And work on just that one for 2 weeks. 1, 2 weeks, then add another. Each habit reinforces the others. Better gaze means better stride. Better stride means arms swing more naturally. It's not 6 separate projects, it's one system, and pulling on any part of it pulls on the whole thing. That's the goal. Not careful walking, confident walking. There's a difference, and your body knows which one it's doing. Start today. One habit. The one that landed. If this was useful, subscribe. And tell me in the comments which of the 6 you're starting with. I want to know. See you in the next one.